Good morning. This is the PLT overview for the week of August 28th through September 1st of the year 2023. Announcements for this week. Teachers' aid badges are necessary for all educators' student aides. Please retrieve badges from Barbara Clark. They must be worn by the TA any time that they leave the classroom. TAs should be in your classroom unless they're running an errand or getting a resource for learning. They should be in your classroom most of the time. They should not be sent to common areas to study. Our next announcement. The lunch schedule must be strictly followed. Some students have been released early for lunch, and it has put undue stress on our security and lunchroom staff. Please do not release students early. Next, Canvas information from Jenny Carr. The following information only applies if you choose to sync grades from Canvas to Infinite Campus. With the new Canvas Grade Sync feature active for over a week now, we've learned a couple of things. Here's the help guide, linked there. This new setting needs to be set up regardless if you use one category or multiple in Infinite Campus. If you only have one category, also set up the non-campus assignment default on Infinite Campus. If you use multiple categories, assignments will still sync to Infinite Campus in the uncategorized orange box at the top of the gradebook. Categories will be listed for each assignment, but you'll need to add the grading task, progress. Make sure your assignments in Canvas are grouped by similar categories that you use in Infinite Campus. The names don't have to match exactly though. Here's a help guide on making assignments in Canvas. This is just a once per semester setup, and this will add one more thing to set up in our advisory courses, but I have instructions and PLT slides for Tuesday, so you can do it then. That's all from Jenny Carr, and thank you so much, Jenny, for all of the help with Canvas and tech. Our next announcement, all student iPads already need updated. Please remind students, please check and update your devices as well if needed. FastBridge testing. If you're in need of a FastBridge login information, please email or call Crystal Kleiner Neff with names, and they will be sent to you as fast as possible. You are welcome to come to the library for that information too. Our next announcement. Do you need to update your login information? Just stop by the library and we'll have you set up with a new password in minutes. Coming to the library is the easiest way to set a new password. Student Square. For coaches, sponsors, and directors, it would be good to encourage students to put the app on their cell phone. This cannot be a requirement, but it's a good tool and should be encouraged. We are phasing out GroupMe, Dojo, etc. Student Square allows for the most accountable and quick form of communication that is monitored. If you need any assistance with using this app, please reach out to Mr. Dorse. And a rule of thumb for communications. Canvas should be used for communicating with students in your class about your class. Parent Square should be used to communicate to parents and guardians of students en masse. The Parent Square messaging option will soon replace GroupMe and Dojo. If you need help setting up groups, talk to Jenny Carr or Mr. Dorst. And finally, do you know a student that needs a hotspot? Here's the process for them getting a hotspot. Our district protocol is that the teacher or student contacts a librarian. The librarian emails the grade level team. Someone on the grade level team confirms with the parent that the hotspot is needed. Then, a grade level team member communicates with the library that a hotspot is needed. After that, the student is sent with a required form that is linked here. It must be signed before we can check the hotspot out to the student. Tasks and trainings for this week. Monday during PLT, we have announcements. We also look at the PLT and PD schedule. And finally, contractual language. It might be important for you to look at those notes. Tuesday is advisory prep. Remember, we will be using Character Strong this week. You'll definitely want to look ahead and prepare ahead as there's multiple tasks for advisory this week. And it is a no-move week. There will be no movement during flex time. And Friday is MTSS Safe and Civil Schools Champs posters. For advisory this week, we'll be looking at Character Strong's Lesson 3, 2, and 3, and Zello. Here's the Microsoft form for the PLT checklist. If you have any questions, comments, or something good you want to share, please put them there. Here are the questions we received last week. Do we mark excused absences as incomplete in Canvas or Advisory? Also, do we do the same for assignments, or do we excuse these both? The answer: for assignments, students have until the end of the quarter to complete that quarter's assignments. If there are assignments not turned in on the end of the quarter day, mark them with an X. All completed assignments should be marked with a check mark, and if they're incomplete, an X. Attendance: use a check mark if the student is there. Use an X if the student is absent. Next question. When is the day for picture retakes? Friday, October 28th is the answer. Number 3. For next year's orientation, could we add a technology session? We feel like this could relieve some of the strain from the first day when everyone receives their iPad. Answer: that's a great idea. We will include this idea in future orientation planning sessions. Number 4. How does the pass-fail credit received for advisory calculate into a GPA? It is the same as teacher aid pass-fail adds to a student's GPA. If it doesn't affect a GPA, but it does show up on the student's transcript. And number 5. What do you do when a smart pass is way over time or a student doesn't show up after lunch? If either of these situations occur, please submit a behavioral referral and document it on Infinite Campus as a tardy. Do not mark them absent. Comments. Can we give students a reminder on Tuesdays during study hall to make future pass for flex time? This would allow teachers some time to approve and prepare for flex time. We have a difficult time hearing the student-read announcements in some e-hall classrooms. Number 2, orientation appreciation. The buddy system or pairing of teachers, movement and not being stuck in our advisory classroom, the planning and the prep that went into it was appreciated. Suggestions: a microphone for the counselors, splitting the tour sessions to cover half the building to eliminate backtracking, ideas for monitoring a group of students that are brand new to you as you move throughout all the different spaces. Number 3, comment number 1. We would appreciate better timing for parent night or back to school night. We love the opportunity to meet parents, but it's brutal the first week of school. Could it be combined with the first half day? Orientation feedback. The tours were good. We would have liked more structure with a standardized flow. It felt like we were always running into other groups. The individual stations went well, but the group in the commons had to deal with the noise from tour groups going through. Our favorite part, besides the end, was the spirit group led by student leaders. We thought it was great to have student leaders here to welcome new students. We felt like, as an expansion, we would have student ambassadors to come help with classroom welcome and school tours. For advisory, we have concerns about tomorrow. It seems like with doing announcements, pictures, finalizing iPad check-in, a Stuco meeting during flex time, and 64 slides, or longer maybe for some grades, character-strong presentation, along with a written assignment, that might be difficult to fit everything in to the allotted time. This means advisory teachers will have to pick what they think is most important to do, and we differed in our thoughts on how to make this happen. Some teachers mentioned that it would be interesting to see the difference when we reflect next week between freshmen and seniors. Number 4, a few comments about orientation. 1, all presenters need to speak into a microphone. 2, the tours at the same time as presentations in the commons was kind of tough, but understand next year will only be freshmen. 3, love the class meetings occurring in small groups. This was much better than the big class assemblies where most students didn't pay attention. 4, what if Party on the Hill was part of this? Number 5, feedback from several teachers after picture day. If students are being released via intercom, can we not use Parent Square again? It was redundant and overloaded phone email notifications. Also, 75 slides for advisory could have been reduced to 10. And number 7, Can you please monitor check students when they're making passes that they have selected your name? A teacher in our building has received 20 passes this week for students whom they don't even know. So just do make sure to monitor those passes. And the Tell Me Something Good section. Thank you to the committee that created the orientation schedule, to the students who led the spirit session, and all the support that made the orientation session run so smoothly. Security is doing a great job of monitoring the building and being present. And number 3, Mr. Dorsch received feedback from multiple parents that although their kids report that there are a lot of students at Manhattan High, the students have communicated to their parents that it just seems nicer. There's less cell phones use in the classrooms, that teachers are more clearly communicating their expectations about cell phones, and staff seem more connected. This comment came from students and parents and guardians. Thank you so much for everything you do. We hope you have a great week.